is a quick overview on how to multiply and divide fractions and mixed numbers. If I were to start out with having something like 3/4 times 2/3, the way I can actually multiply these is by multiplying the numerator, which is our top number, times each other. 3 times 2 is 6, and then our denominators times each other. 4 times 3, which is 12. This can be seen in a drawing with having 3/4 of 2/3. So I've drawn 3/4. Now I am going to break this into 2/3. So I've broken it into the 2/3. And to see where that 2/3 kind of overlaps would be these areas. So therefore, these 6 right here are the number of pieces I have, whereas there are a total of 12 pieces. Now, once I have that 6/12, I should simplify by dividing both of them by 6 to end up with 1/2. Now, when I'm multiplying mixed numbers like 1 and 1/3 times 2 and 2/5, I can't actually multiply just the whole numbers and just the fractions because that's just kind of multiplying parts of parts. So in order to do this, I really need to change this into an improper fraction. Now, I can recognize that 1 is the same as 3/3 plus that 1/3, so I have a total of 4/3. Same here. I can recognize that 2 wholes is the same as 5/5 and 5/5, or a total of 2 times 5, which is 10/5, plus 2 to get a total of 12/5. At this point, I can then proceed like I did before and multiplying my numerators times each other. 4 times 12 is 48, and 3 times 5, which is 15. Now to change this back into a mixed number, I'm going to see how many groups of 15 I can make, or how many whole numbers I can pull out of that 48. So 15 fifteenths would be 1 whole. Another 15 fifteenths, which would be a total of 30 fifteenths, would be 2 wholes. And 3 wholes would be 45 fifteenths. So I have pulled it out to make that equal 3, with a remainder of 3 fifteenths. If I'd like, I could have divided 48 by 15, because anytime you have a fraction, it is a division sign. I then can simplify to 3 and 1/5. The next thing I'm going to briefly touch on is dividing with fractions. We're going to keep it with just whole numbers and unit fractions. So if I started out and I had 3 wholes divided by 1/4, what I can view this as is 3 wholes that I have right here. And I want to actually figure out how many 4th size pieces. So if I cut each one of these into 4th size pieces, I have a grand total of, if I were to count them, 4 plus 4 plus 4 to equal 12. So I can definitely draw this picture, and what I'm actually doing in this case is I am then multiplying this whole number, this first number, by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal is when you basically just flip-flop your numerator and your denominator, times 4 over 1, which equals 12. Now if I have a fraction like this 1/3 that's seen here, and I'm dividing it into 4 groups, I can draw this picture and show that I've got 1/3. Now I'm going to divide this into 4 pieces. Now what I'm doing is I'm also dividing the empty space that you see right over here. Even though I don't have it, I still have to divide it up. Now I am left with each one of these pieces right here. I'm left with one piece. And there are a total of, if I were to count this up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 pieces. Now, if you want to look at the mathematical things, it is again taking my first number, which is my dividend, and dividing it, or I'm multiplying it, by the reciprocal, which in this case is, since it starts out as 4 over 1, it becomes 1/4. And so the answer is 1/12. That's just a real quick overview on the multiplying and dividing fractions and mixed numbers.